mind-controlling alien parasite from the faculty. Explained. What's for you in this late 90s feature that guarantees to jack you up? Another random sci-fi horror flick that holds a mixed bag of high school students trying to help their city escape the invasion of body-snatching parasites and survive. But what's not so random about this movie is its director, Robert Rodriguez, pronounced for his world-famous El Mariachi 1992, and screenwriter Kevin Williamson, who carries shows like Dawson'S Creek, The Vampire Diaries, Stalker, and others in his account, which we don't need an introduction for. 1998 born, R-rated The Faculty describes a typical high school environment of the late 90s, where sloppy teenagers and their teachers try to centralize viewers' attention into their regular, boring lives. As usual, they fail altogether.
Nowhere to hide, we're everywhere. I'll fucking shoot her.
But not to worry, this task is performed very intently and completed by none other than the slithering, parasitic aliens. With the utter creepiness sliding in quietly, this movie becomes quite hard to resist and unnoticed. The background theme resembles the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers, based on the novel The Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. The initial 8 minutes lay the horror base for the audience, where the principal, Miss Drake, BEBE Neuwirth, and the coach of the football team, Joe Willis, Robert Patrick, are seen engaged in a deadly run and chase through the school grounds. The cult movie's birthgiver, Rodriguez, manages to cut out a refined, edgy monster thriller storyline with a connecting climax. So let's get started on the autopsy of this teenage horror, but before that, we guess you would not like to miss out on such drastic, hell-prevailing monsters and their reign of terror themed movies, which get featured here on Marvelous Videos. You're smart enough to catch up on our awards, right? Please do your part, and we promise to do ours.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Chronicles of the Brain-Altering Alien. The actual movie gears up when Casey, Elijah Wood, also known for playing Frodo Baggins in The Lord of the Rings, the school newspaper photographer, is seen isolating himself on the football field on one of the plank seats. As he starts to leave the field, he stumbles over something that appeared like a blurry twig. As soon as he starts examining it, he is faced by Coach Willis, who shuts him off from the ground. Casey, after leaving, makes it straight to Mr. Furlong, John Stewart, the biology professor, where the class analyzes the twig-like organism. When released in water, it comes to life, outgrows itself, it develops fangs and teeth. It also replicates. The story moves forward with Stan, Sean Hattasey, the quarterback of the football team, showering in the boys' locker room, and his horrific experience with Jessica Brummel, Susan Willis, one of the staff teachers, in the shower. Casey and Delilah, Jordana Brewster, the editor-in-chief of Hornet Weekly, and also the cheerleader girlfriend of Harrington's football captain, struggle to find a lead story for the newspaper. They encounter something extremely petrifying in the faculty lounge, while hiding inside the closet, where Casey proves his crush on the Bangs girl. While in an attempt to escape from the lounge, accompanied by Coach Willis and another teacher, Karen Olsen, Piper Laurie, they run into Principal Drake and Professor Tate, Daniel Von Bargan. They soon realize that they would be of no help, and that all of them were collectively a sign of huge danger.
We could sure use your speed. There's plenty of chasing on the field.
Amongst this chaos, heat waves are gushing between Stokely, Clea Duvall, the goth outcast, and Stan in the classroom, and Zeke, Josh Hartnett, the senior year repeater, drug dealer, and Mary Beth, Laura Harris, the newcomer from Atlanta.
I'm Mary Beth, Louise Hutchinson of Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Is there a certain tradition in Atlanta to address yourself with your full-length name to everyone until you become familiar enough? Away in the library, Casey and Stokely break the quiet please rule by arguing over the alien invasion, the possibility of it being very real.
Anyway, how do we know Spielberg, Lucas, Sonnenfeld, Emmerich have...
They also discuss about the writer Jack Finney and his books on the similar topic, and that the aliens are getting at us through the fiction, as they try searching for the missing puzzle pieces through the theory of puppet masters. They end up in the lab with the rest of the team. Here, they find out that the unknown species found by Casey has gone missing. In the journey to find the answers to their queries, they are faced with Mr. Furlong, who turns out to be an alien-infected human. He is killed when Zeke stabs him in the eye with one of his drug pins, making his earlier wish of putting a pin in his eye come true. Confirming an end to their flight, they land in Zeke's affluent house, which comes with a well-equipped, attested lab. This kid is certainly the Bachelor of Science, with a filthy amount of wealth up his sleeve, inspecting and studying the crimson-colored thumb-sized creature obtained after slashing the fingers of Furlong, which fall off like sausages. They come to the conclusion that it is a parasite and needs water for survival. The drug, being a diuretic, dries it out and kills it. Stokely, the sci-fi nerd, extinguishes the remaining fire of curiosity by quoting,
"They're just turning us into mindless slaves they can control."
and to finish this disaster, they have to end the queen bee, and there's one amongst them hiding under human skin. The only way to circle the odd one out is by taking the scat test.
Easy boy.
Everyone waits for the results while tweaking and hallucinating to the moment Delilah's face starts bursting with absurd rolling creatures, after which she flees the spot. To save the football town, they have to isolate and kill the queen, and they don't even have the slightest idea as to who the queen is. Unless, of course, it is Principal Drake, as she is the head of the school. I can bet these bunch of funky, freaky teenagers would make it into something like the Hardy Boys, and if asked to be named, precisely nothing more than daredevil mystery sleuths will suit the pack. But the daredeviling doesn't come easy, and neither the luck with it. Even after reducing the principal to ashes and fumes, it turns out that the plague hasn't been eradicated from the rest of the state. And above all, they lost Stan to the parasite army.
Open the fucking door! Open the door! Go a fucking way, Stan!
There have also been running out of their only weapon, the stash. Delivering a bit of road rash seen in the last half hour, Zeke manages to get the last traces of his stash, only with a huge, unsettling scene flashing in front of his eyes. Could anything be creepier than this half-a-minute clip? This will hold its place tightly in the accounts of the dirtiest, bizarre horror scenes. Miss Burke is placing her decapitated head on her own body like she's crowning herself the winner of some beauty pageant. Back in the auditorium, Mary Beth talks to Stokely about being an outsider and that it was getting tiresome to live a pretentious life. She was exhausted by this for a long time, until the second she puts an end to her false identity and acquires her original form, the master alien, the fucking queen bee. Alas, they finally discovered the queen, and now she's chasing Stokely and Casey, who are running in the air, running as fast as their legs could carry them for their lives. They are later joined by Zeke, who's somewhat floating in between his human friends and the gross alien doppelganger. Zeke is ambushed, leaving a wobbly and pale Casey against the room, capturing giant, vigorous, tentacled, large-headed snatcher alien with a grossly roaring body. After a long, communicable run and chase, suggestion pursuit, Casey finally marks the instantaneous end to the alien's empire by stabbing him. Similar to the way the others were skewered, by the looks of it, he seems to have developed some sort of a connection or sympathy for the alien, as he states.
You wouldn't have liked it here anyway.
He understands what it means to be cornered and left out. Over a month later, life returns to normal at Harrington High, where Coach Willis is seen spitting out shitty words of wisdom to his respectable Hornets, like in the very beginning of the film. But what remains is the question of whether Mary Beth was a human transferred from Atlanta who was infected by the alien queen, or had the head alien just shape-shifted into its alter ego that was assigned to her by her now non-existent planet, or whether, like super cousins, she was ported to the earth by her ancestors to survive and rule her kingdom here. I guess some mysteries are only meant to meet their end with its character and not be resolved, to leave us with numerous imaginative theories so that we can satisfy our thirst according to our comfort. The MENTICIDE, parasitic aliens, brainwashing agents of Ohio, sharing its physical identity with that of the Watcher from the Fellowship of the Ring. They first appeared in Ohio in the city of Harrington among the faculty. They infect the host, mainly the human body, and then gain control over their bodies by entering the ear canal and taking over their brains. The aliens are natives of the ocean-covered planets. They are born swimmers, as their staple habitat is water, where they multiply rapidly. Like other arthropods, they have a queen, which is hugely monstrous in appearance and possesses immense physical and colossal strength. If she is targeted, then all the other aliens would be unable to survive. Also, they host shape-shifting abilities, which prove to be a huge benefit in delivering numerous baby aliens simultaneously. Their progenies are small enough to be compared to a fish tadpole-like structured body with tentacles, head occupied with mandibles, and sharp-toothed mouths. When they take over the mental facilities of their host, the subject's personality is reversed from their natural state. They also reproduce asexually through regeneration, as seen in the scene where a piece of the tadpole resembling creature is separated from its body and then fuses itself inside the lab rat and grows into a whole. They are fragile inside, old, disoriented, and dehydrated host bodies, and the diuretic drugs make them feeble and insubstantial. That's the reason why they were unable to thrive in Miss Brummel's body.
Guaranteed to jack you up.
Aliens' history and its ride to Earth. Theories and viewpoints suggest that these parasitic aliens might have originated on Mars, which had an abundance of water on its surface. A huge asteroid shower resulted in cataclysmic destruction, or deluge, which eroded all the life forms on the planet by taking the form of a tsunami, hence engulfing all of its inhabitants. But this theory fails to prove the points responsible for the foundation of the whole existence and nativity of the aliens. As a result of a known tsunami, the planet's conditions would have been the exact opposite of what they called a dry out. Furthermore, it would have been more lavishing and fuller of life, that the creatures wouldn't have to escape their home planet and strike terror on Earth. Burrowing our heads deep, we might find the alternate ending of the same destruction, which would have led to the evacuation of their planet. An increment in the heat level, along with oxygen bonded with iron, will not allow water to recondense, resulting in hydrogen combining with carbon, which will eventually lead to violent rates of global warming and greenhouse effects, ending the existence of the aliens' native home. On the contrary, Earth seems to be the ideal and next to clone habitat to raise their expiring realm, as it has approximately 70% of water resources, which is just enough to support their existence. Also, the aliens might have thought that they would be able to help humankind with their depressive and agitated survival menaces by setting them free from their mind trap. It is evident when an alien-influenced Stan says,
There's no fear or pain. It's beautiful.
They could contribute to this world by unchaining people from their humane limitations, thereby migrating to a football town and starting by absorbing the souls of the teachers in a local school.
Pretty cool human being when you're not being a first-class grade A bitch.
Why watch The Faculty? Originally titled The Feelers. Here's why you should be watching this alien invasion trip to Earth. For the 90s high school teen lives, the current sophomores and freshmen are the mirror image to the former, with contrasting traits. Honking roads with berserk teenagers snatching each other's lives, corridors packed with mad couples swearing on the top of their lungs, a false rumored, shunned, violent lesbian who uses the tag as her security against people. Clea Duvall is a lesbian American actress who appeared in '99's popular drama-centered movie Girl Interrupted.
I hope you're not a violent lesbian like a newfound friend here.
No. I'm not aware of any lesbianism in my lineage.
The usual jock cheerleader pair who just tries to fit in and figure out their days ahead. An awkward introvert photographer who turns out to be the shining star as the credits roll. A newcomer girl with a sweet and delicate essence who tries hard to be a part of the new crowd. And a mystery lady, a brilliant dropout stoner who owns a 1970 Pontiac GTO and a cult detective special. And obviously for Usher's film debut, old lazy messy setup of the school with unsatisfied and wonky faculty. The Easter eggs in this movie include Summer Phoenix, the you girl, the Joker's real life sibling, Tina Rodriguez, the tattooed girl in the stairs, director Robert Rodriguez's sister, Harry Knowles, Mr. Knowles, famous for his Ain't It Cool News movie news website, Salma Hayek, Nurse Harper, who also shared the big screen with Elijah Wood in Chain of Fools and Spy Kids 3D. And Usher as Gabe, a successful pop R&B artist of early 21st century.
How are you today, Mr. Brown? A bit tired, but no complaints.
Rodriguez's films are highly appreciated for their soundtracks, and this movie is laced with Marco Beltrami's sinister and nostalgic indie music, who has contributed his talent to movies like Score, Fear Street Trilogy, Venom, A Quiet Place, which speaks for themselves, fleshing the layers of suspense with light-hearted moments made at the end much more acceptable and sleeky. And the rest for the sci-fi geeks and the terrific stories, theories, which come to life on screen. You have gotten a fair idea by now about the rotating axis of this movie. Also, it wouldn't be fair if we already untangle all the knots for you. Be a sage and give yourself a bumpy ride around Harrington to unleash the finesse plotted throughout the movie. Peace out until the next monster movie update.
And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.
Behavior, Stan. You've been acting really weird the last couple of days.
I'm not an alien. I'm discontent.